on the Bighorn Highway, Highway 40 in Alberta, on the way up to Grand Prairie. And this is our third grizzly today. We saw a couple back in north of Jasper, but we couldn't stop and get pictures of. We're at Hythe Municipal Campground. It's about 30 minutes north of Grand Prairie, Alberta. It's a municipal park and they've got set up for RVs. I guess I can get down this way just as easy. They're trying to remodel and fix it up. They just trenched in a new sewer line. So it's full hookups now. We're going to get started now. Been a long way for this picture. Waited a long time. In Dawson Creek, British Columbia, mile 0, Alaska Highway. This is Thursday, May 19th. East Island Bridge, big steel bridge. Just north of Dawson, on the way to Fort St. John, over the Peace River. Try to get a picture out of our back window. We're at Bucking Horse River, Wayside Provincial Park. It's right off of Alaskan Highway between Fort St. John's and Fort Nelson. And as soon as we were setting up here, I got sleet all over me, and now it's big fluffy white flakes of snow. We drove through, probably saw in the video, I took in the truck, snow squalls for about an hour after lunch. That of course is the Bucking Horse River. Probably got the muddiest sight, but it's got the best view from the back window. We spent about 20 minutes cleaning the mud off the back window with old snow and Windex. Hard to believe, 30 minutes ago it was sleet and then snow right behind our campsite, Bucking Horse River. Probably 10 sites that back up to the river, but ours is maybe the only one that has a view, or no obstructed view without a water. This is a campsite, a gray Ford next to us, and right along the river.
could be gonna happen.
Famous Muncho Lake, covered with ice. You can still see the green color trying to bleed through. Still driving the Alaskan Highway along Muncho Lake. It's about a 7 or 8 mile long lake, famous for its color in the summertime. This is just maybe 20 miles north of Muncho Lake. I've seen individual buffalo. This is our first herd. And on both sides of the road. So now we have to wait for a parade. Okay, this is the famous signpost forest, Watson Lake, Yukon Territory in Canada. That's the Northern Lights Center over there. That's the only center in the world that it's like a planetarium, and the whole theme is the Northern Lights. And we're looking for the sign that the plumbers put up here in '94 when the Clarks, Burballs, Jenkins, and Shanks all came up here in '94 in their fifth wheel Shadow Cruisers. That building was in the background, but it was painted red. The logs were painted red, so it's going to be our bearings to try to find them. And I think I read there's, as of last year anyway, there were over 90,000 signs. It goes on and on, but we're going to start at this end. Been looking for an hour for the Brookville sign that the crew put up. Can't find any of it. Just found a couple signs that were on the same post in the picture they took. But they had been moved. They were on different posts with different groups of cities and whatnot. So I put ours next to the City of Vandalia sign, down low to the ground. Very close to the parking lot near the Watson Lake Watson Lake Motors Limited. It's a repair shop. I don't know if you can see it through the This is the general vicinity of where their sign was. We got 4 or 5 pictures, and it nails down the spot, but the sign has either been lost or moved. This is downtown RV Park in Watson Lake, Utah. They pack them in tight. Gotta do a little 10-minute trail here. It says in the milepost anyway, 10-minute walk. I decided not to. Reservation Falls. It's snow all the way. My boots aren't that high. I can hear them. We're along the Alaska Highway, probably 40 or 50 miles north of Watson Lake. Saw a caribou, one solo caribou. He took off too quick to get a picture. Next stop probably is going to be Teslin, where the Tlingit Heritage Center is. Been a good stop if the snow wasn't so deep. Caribou licking salt off the road.
Male and female, huh?
It looks like.
They're not in any hurry.
No, they like that salt.
Thank you.
The Sutherland River Delta. Not sure if we can read the sign, but it's habitat for a lot of wildlife. Alaska Highway, of course, probably hour and a half, 2 hours north of Watson Lake, and that's the town of Delta across. Of Teslin across the bridge. It's a Tlingit village. Actually, it's started as a Tlingit village, native people's village, but it's a little town now with a lot of heritage centers and museums. This is where we're going to stop and eat our lunch in the trailer and then get some gas. Down below a quarter tank. Timed it just right. This is the Teslin Heritage Center. They don't open till June. Right near the edge of the lake. Teslin Lake. That we saw from the overlook and the bridge and all that, the Delta. That's looking south here at Teslin Lake, Yukon Territory. The lake is not only low, but it's still half froze. And that's to the west, and that's north where we're headed. Next stop probably is Whitehorse. A couple hours to go yet. Floating docks not floating today. old steamboat, one of the old steamboats they've restored as a National Parks Heritage Center. Can't see it, but the Yukon River, well, we can see it. We'll pan over here. Yukon River is famous, of course, for the gold rush days. All the miners and freight that used to move up and down the Yukon. It's the largest river. All major rivers in the Yukon flow into this river. We'll make sure we got pictures of the red chairs. At a lot of different Canada National Park properties. Just stopped here at an overlook at Miles Canyon, just about less than 5 minutes from our campground in Whitehorse. I'm going to take the walk over to that suspension bridge here in a little bit. Kind of a cloudy day today, but high in the low 50s. I'm not sure what all the deal with the padlocks is. And I don't know if it's showing up on camera, but this is lichen on the rocks. It's orange, and the soil is pretty orange too. So the story is Miles Canyon was famous for its dangerous rapids before they built a dam to the west of here on the other side of Whitehorse, and the backwater from the dam eliminated the rapids. Before that, the steam, how they call them, stern wheelers or steamboats, would come up just before this canyon, and freight would have to be portaged the rest of the way up to Whitehorse, where there were some brave captains who ran the rapids with their boats, smaller boats, and got there a little quicker. I forgot to get a picture of our site, so I'll take a picture of a couple on the way out. There are trees between the sites, at least at this park. High Country RV Park in Whitehorse, Yukon. That's their office. About 30 miles north of Whitehorse, still on the Alaska Highway.
Looking at me.
Pretty big herd. Oh, these have antlers.
What this one back here does, you know?
This is the Kluane National Park Visitor Center. It's Parks Canada Park, National Park. We're camping tonight at the north end of it near Beaver Creek.
I'm speaking to you from an improvised control room in the rear of an American Army truck parked away up here on the Soldiers Summit, a high pass on the Canada-Alaska Highway, and where at this moment, some 100 yards from my vantage point, the official opening of this great road is taking place. In the belief that this occasion is making history, we have traveled over 3,000 miles in order to bring you the official remarks in connection with the opening. Others, too, have made the long trek to Soldiers Summit. I would say that there are about 300 persons in all gathered around the speaker stand. They are, for the most part, soldiers and civilian road workers from nearby camps, but, too, there are a good many civic and military dignitaries. As Colonel K.B. Bush of the United States Army Corps of Engineers, who is acting as Master of Ceremonies here today, said in his opening remarks, "We who are gathered here in this imposing wilderness today are but the symbols of the countless thousands who have made this undertaking possible. And what an undertaking it has been. Surely this road will rank for all time among the greatest engineering feats the world has ever seen. From Dawson Creek to Fairbanks in Alaska, a distance of 1,650 miles, American Army engineers have punched through this highway at the blitzkrieg speed of 8 miles a day. The scenery along the highway is unsurpassed in grandeur. The towering Rocky Mountains are on all sides. The mighty rivers of the Northland wind their way along the route. The Liard, the Lewis, and the fabled Yukon. But of all the beauty spots to be found, this opening ceremony is taking place in quite the most arresting. From the Soldiers' Summit, we're looking down on the blue-green waters of Lake Kluane, surrounded by the white ramparts of peaks that tower 10,000 feet above us. Kluane waters are too deep to freeze, but they're steaming and smoking in the cold, and the lake glows like an emerald in a setting of gigantic diamonds. It's bitter cold here today. I'm not permitted to quote temperatures, but I can tell you that all of us up here envy all of you by your firesides out there. It's a very colorful scene nonetheless. On either side of the dividing tape that is symbolic of the Yukon-Alaska border fly the stars and the stripes and the Union Jack. On the Canadian side of the line, we have a detachment of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, the real soldiers of this frontier land, and on the Alaska side are the American troops standing smartly to attention with their parka hoods done up and their skis at the present.
These are Dall sheep up on the mountainside. That bare slopes of the Sheep Mountain I took a video of previously before we stopped here at Soldiers Summit. And this is the season for the ewes and the lambs. The rams have moved on. This is the first glimpse we've seen, and I just barely saw them. They're way up on the mountain. I should have brought my telephoto. This is supposed to be the roughest section of the Alaska Highway. It's between where we camped last night and Whitehorse and Tok, Alaska, or the Alaska border anyway. Where we're going to camp tonight is near Beaver Creek, Yukon. It's been cloudy and rainy all day. The sun's trying to come out. We just passed what's called the Icefield Range here in this part of Yukon along the Alaska Highway, and it's just a continuous line of mountains over 10,000 feet, some as high as 15,000 feet. Asphalt patches and potholes. Sometimes it's 30-mile-an-hour stuff. That's the office building. Can't quite see the front of it. Right on the Alaska Highway. In fact, you can see they've got the Canadian American flags at the entrance because we're only about, I don't know, maybe 20 miles from Beaver Creek, Yukon, and then another 30 to the Alaska border. private campground. They're opening up just this week. I mean, they don't have water on at any sites yet. They're still trying to find a leak. Just have water up at the office for us to fill the tanks. We got a full service hookup for $40 Canadian, which is about 30 US. It's quite a bargain, really. Pull through view of the mountains. They got little cottages too. They also rent. Let's pick up that mountain. Still snow covered. This is our view out our back window. At Discovery, Yukon. It's quite a setting. So we're on the section of the Alaska Highway now. They've got been seeing all kinds of different types of events that Yukon government, U.S. government, colleges and universities are experimenting with venting the permafrost so you don't get all these giant frost heaves every year. And some that are poles that are 20 feet high, and then some just black corrugated pipe nailed to a wooden post. At this point, I don't think they figured it out. We're seeing the range. I think this is the Wrangell Mountains in northern Yukon. Some of those peaks are 17, 18, 19,000 feet. The more snow, the higher the elevation. We're just about a couple miles south of Beaver Creek, our last stop in the Yukon, Canada. From there, it's about 20 miles to Alaska. Stopped here at Buckshot Betty's in Beaver Creek, Yukon Territory. Trying to get, we haven't got the first Alaska Highway souvenir, so we're looking for a patch or something. I think somebody said there's baked goods here too. That'd be a bonus.
Oh, look at the babies. I wish I had my other camera. Thank you.
I'm recording. Those are small ones.
Newborns.
One darker than the other. Just about 10 miles from the Alaska border, heading north.
I know.
Yep, you can read it. It's in the shade this morning. This is the boundary. You can see where they maintain a cut line through the trees. All the way to the horizon. So we've got the flags of Canada and the Yukon Territory. In fact, you can see Yukon sign for people heading south. And then those of us heading north to Alaska, we have the United States and the Alaskan flag. And just to show the cut line through the trees going north. So to your right would be east, which is the Yukon territories. And to the left of that cut line is Alaska. The other line I took a picture of earlier was to the south. There's no pictures, so I'm going to cheat before we get there.
Where did it say no pictures?
In the literature.
Okay.
We stopped at a little turnout here. I think we're going to eat lunch here. About 20 miles maybe south of Tok, Alaska. Quite a view of the mountains. We've been watching the whole way the Alaska range. Denali's over there somewhere. Most of those peaks are 15 to 20,000. Denali's the tallest in North America at 20,000, over 20,000. That's the tallest peak we're looking at. I really don't know the name of it. I need to correct myself. I thought that was the Alaska range, but it is the Wrangell Mountains. It's the southern half of the mountain range of the St. Elias Wrangell National Park, U.S. National Park, the largest U.S. National Park that we'll be seeing part of the northern area of when we get up closer to Fairbanks and Anchorage. Also, just to add, this is Midway Lake, and all that land we're looking at in the foreground past the lake, between the lake and the mountains, is still part of the Tetlin Wildlife Refuge area. We've seen several swans nesting in the smaller lakes and ponds. I think there's one on this small grassy island. Yep, that's a pair of swans. And that dark mound to the right is maybe part of their nest. There are two types of swans in this area, the trumpeter swan and the tundra swan. Amazing to me, they built a almost 1,400-mile Alcan highway, bridges, and mountain cuts in 8 months. This is a rest stop. Now that the wind dies down, maybe I can talk. It's a rest stop along the highway, just maybe 15 miles from Tok, Alaska. This is part of the old steel structure of the bridge that used to be here. I think it said this was the bridge that was destroyed in 2002 when there was an earthquake. And they've got this, I kind of left the abutments. You can see the parts of the bridge they left. We're on one of the abutments on the eastern shore looking west toward Tok. New bridge, Alaska Highway. Through the bumpy roads yet, but these are not near as bad as a few miles back. Alaska's are just as bad as the Yukon in Canada. The difference is Alaska doesn't mark theirs as well. Not as much warning. Definitely just as bad, the frost hills. This is Wednesday, and I believe it's 25th of May. And this is Tok Village RV Campground. They're kind of just getting things opened up too, but it's a nice park. There's distance between sites and more trees than most RV parks. I think it was $60 a night with a Good Sam discount. I guess in Alaska that's going great. We've got full hookups and good enough for a couple nights here in Tok, Alaska.